Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we'll be slip-sliding our way into Watch Out for That Banana, episode 7 of Hot and Cold. For the newcomers for this video series, this is where I compile a list of songs that I believe are the best, known as the hot tracks, and the worst, known as the cold tracks, that have been released from the past week. Specifically, I'll be looking at any songs that had come out between July 29th and August 4th, 2018. I can't believe we're into August now. But if you feel like I've omitted some songs that you think should be worthy of this list, feel free to suggest them. I'm always on the hunt for some songs, and sometimes they just fall through the cracks. But without further ado, let's get into the hot tracks. I've picked out a couple here from Travis Scott's newest record, Astro World. The first track that I'll be talking about here is Stargazing. It's the intro track off that record, and man, it's really just meant for anyone who's a fan of hard-hitting trap beats. And on this one here, Scott concocts a signature spacey kind of atmosphere kind of song that he's known for, plus his boastful recap of his most recent years in his life over this very dark and murky beat that should drive any trap fan crazy. And the second track that I'm going to recommend here is called Stop Trying to Be God. This is meant for more of the R&B kind of fans out there. And on this one, there's no shortage of vocal features. We get James Blake coming through with a soulful bridge. We get Stevie Wonder, who has credits on this one for singing in the outro, but I feel like he's also playing the harmonica throughout the song as well. And if it's not actually him, it's got to be a sample of him, but either way, it just livens up this track with very soaring and snappy tones. Overall, Stop Trying to Be God is a great track for its lyrical content, the instrumentals, tackling a lot of great topics from the God complex and narcissism, and it possibly might be throwing shade at Kanye West, who really knows. But it's one that's been growing on me with repeated listens to Astro World. Moving on from that, we have the Revivalists with their single All My Friends. And the chorus on this one eerily sounds like an older kind of Shinedown track, but it's mixed with crisp horns and the baritone sax. Man, I just live for that low-end brass instrument. It's easily the quickest way to make me fall in love with a song. On top of this, the lyrics are very similar to With a Little Help from My Friends by the Beatles, so it's nothing really new in that department, but I still think it's an easy listening song that can be played with any crowd of friends. Another hot track, in my opinion, here is number 10 by Interpol, and the highly distorted rock guitar solo with the triplet rhythms at the beginning of the song will absolutely capture your attention. I especially noticed that when I was making the playlist for this episode of Hot and Cold. But it's really the raw and energetic drive that this song possesses to put it on this list. Definitely one that has me looking forward to the album dropping from Interpol later this month. And lastly, we have a bit of a bounce back from Cab For Cutie with their song Autumn Love. The intro on this sounds like Copperhead Road by Steve Earle, but please don't let that fool you. It's really just a better effort compared to their previous single, I Dreamt We Spoke Again, and it's way more tolerable too. I get why it might be a bit more tolerable, it might be because of the safer vocal performance, but with some weird pitch bends in the guitars, it just keeps the song very fresh and captivating. Now onto the middle of the road tracks that I just don't think really blow me away, but they're not the worst things I've ever heard either. And first up, we have the single from Arizona, which is called What She Wants. And this single here is the happier version of what The System Only Dreams in Total Darkness was for the National a couple years ago. The timbre and the delivery of the vocals and parts of the verses are pretty homogenous with the Matt Berninger kind of style. So if you're into that, it would definitely be a good listen. It's just a little perkier in the tone. But the rest of the track is what really turns me off, especially with the generic electronic effects on the guitar and the chorus that tries way too hard to be memorable and anthemic. Another track that I've put on this list is called Expectations by Magic, and this is their intro track for their upcoming album. And sure, its generic dancehall drum beat might make you think that you should make up your mind before even listening to the rest of the song, but you'll see that it's tastefully needed for the horn and the ad-lib section at the end, which is by far my favorite part of the song. Of course, if you don't want to sit through the first 2 minutes, it will be hard to find something that you enjoy with this song, and you might start to question the repeated hook and whether it pays off. But it's still a decent funky entry into Magic's library of exotically tinged tunes. The country lovers will love this next one here. And this one's spelled D-R-U-N-K, that spells drunk, I'm sober, please trust me. And this country twanger by Shooter Jennings is musically an enjoyable cut that is very similar to the sounds explored by Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, especially with the organ creeping in the song's final leg. Obviously a bit more country leaning, but still a great performance from the vocalist, both the lead and the backup. It's a flatter kind of voice that doesn't really scream country. However, it is the lyrics that do scream country. So if you don't like the first 30 seconds of the song, you've pretty much heard all that you need to hear. Essentially, I'm just putting this song on the list in support of Boots and Hearts, the country festival that's coming up. But occasionally I really do like a country song, so if you have any suggestions, please throw them my way. Although please keep in mind that I'm more of like a blues country kind of fan, so Chris Stapleton, yes please. And moving on from country, which is almost the complete opposite at this point, I realize that I haven't talked about house music on this channel, but I gotta give some love to the artists that are in this field of music. Martin Garrix, Avicii, Swedish House Mafia, Deadmau5, more Deadmau5, Daft Punk, and some more Deadmau5. And I'm a fan of these artists just as much as the next guy, it's just that I need something more innovative or experimental to get my fix or craving of this genre. And the new single from Martin Garrix, which is called High on Life, it doesn't really do that here, but it's still a nice fusion of a ballad type of song, which is started off with the serious tone from the dissonant piano chords, before entering the tambourines, the serene guitar, and the forceful synths in order to support the aesthetically pleasing beat drop. So yeah, if anyone's into house music, please send their suggestions my way. I do appreciate it. And now onto the cold tracks, which in my opinion were the worst from the week. And first up is ZAYN's newest single called Too Much. Man, this guy really deflated my expectations with his sonic direction, essentially regressing to the stale and indistinguishable style from his solo debut album. Really, the bridge on this is just like ripping himself off from Pillow Talk. It's Justin Timberlake, it's Nick Jonas, I don't know at this point, it's just not really standing out for much other than the slightly better mixed vocals that I can actually hear easier than what they were on the last single, Sour Diesel. But other than that, this song just didn't keep up with any of those R&B funk kind of stylings to it, so it really just fell flat for me. Oh, and now we're at the final track of the week, which I've been really wanting to avoid, but I just couldn't help talking about it here. Once the bodyguard for Drake, I don't know why he thought he could actually rap. And really, he should stick to that after his atrocious vocal performance on his new song, Dope Game. Yes, the Drake protege, the OVO sound guy, Baka Not Nice. And although it pains me to talk about how bad this music is, please know that I'm only ripping on the music, not the actual artist himself. But this thing is nothing more than drab, generic party music that OVO fans will obviously be eating up. But sorry, I can't listen to this after this vocal performance at all. If you can listen to this song from the 2-minute and 35-second mark until the end, you deserve a cookie. But you know what, to end this week on a bit more of a positive note, I would love to give a shout out for a really good song. And this one's called This Life by Tim Hecker. It has a drone to this song, and it's over 8 minutes, I think, but it's just really well justified for its runtime. Man, there's so much going on in this track, you won't really want to be turning it off at any point. I kind of turned it on thinking that I wasn't going to really make it all the way through, but once you're hooked, you're in for the long run. And it's really the interesting and compelling harmonies that go on in this track from one ear to the other. It's just very rich and full in its soundscape, and I can't recommend it enough. Of course, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I understand that. This is subjective. This is only my opinion. And there you have it. There's episode 7 of Hot and Cold, said and done. Now I want to hear from you. Sound off down below in the comments. Agree or disagree. I'm here to engage with you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. My name is Ryan from True North Reviews. And as always, have a rockin' day. But more importantly, don't slip on that banana peel. Thanks for watching.